Hey guys, welcome back to Morgan Hill Farms. I wanted to share with you a quick update on my carrots here. If you guys remember, I planted these, I think back in August, and these guys are coming along beautifully. I have thinned them out. This was my first bed that I planted. My other two beds are about a week after this bed. They are a bit smaller than these guys, but I think that we're gonna have a great carrot year. You can probably see behind me that the raised bed garden looks a little sleepy this time of year. I do have some lettuce in here, as well as some beets, a few leeks, some parsley. I've got a few last potatoes that I have to dig out of the ground, even though we have had our first frost. Those potato plants hung on. I thought I would come down and they would be all slimy and kind of mushy, but they have hung on and they survived that frost. And I also have a bit of green beans that I covered with some frost fabric during our first two frosts, and those look beautiful. So we're still harvesting green beans, even though we've gotten a bit too cold. I use a frost fabric from Johnny Seeds. It's called Agribon 19. It's one of their lightest weight fabrics, but I went ahead and doubled it up since green beans are very susceptible to frost. And so I'm happy to report that we're actually still getting green beans right now. But besides all of that, there seems to be just an air of tension right now in our country. There is a lot of just, I don't know, it just seems like heaviness, if you guys know what I'm talking about. And it's all revolving around the election. There's been a lot of talk of violence and chaos with this election. CBS has said that the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security are really concerned about the violence and things that may occur during the election. There's also a gal named Juliet Kamen who used to work for the Department of Homeland Security. She's now a national security analyst, and she has said that the United States government is not ready for the violence that Trump might unleash during this election. So there's just really a lot of talk of chaos and a lot of talk of just social unrest and a lot of unknowns right now. And I'm not sure if you guys have heard, actually on October 8th, they actually arrested two men that are Afghan men, and they were plotting some election violence. So they had purchased guns and ammunition, and they were going to target places where there were large groups of people on election day. They were planning on dying as martyrs during that day. In fact, one guy had liquidated his entire family's assets. He had purchased one-way tickets for his wife and child to go back to Afghanistan. And ironically enough, he had entered this country with his family in September of 2021. So he's not a U.S. citizen, and so he's here plotting violence against American citizens on election day. So there's just a lot going on right now. As a country, we are so divided. So you have citizens against citizens. You know, if you're not voting the same way as somebody else is, that can cause a lot of tension, a lot of, just hyper aggression. You also have so many illegal immigrants here. We don't know why they're here, why they're coming here, why so many of them are young military age men. And then, you have these news agencies that are just reporting on all of the supposed chaos and violence that will happen during the election time. And it's almost like, it makes you wonder, are they planning something? Are they setting the stage for this? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I can tell you that the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. I can tell you that I remember the 2020 election, and I remember when the results came in on that. And then there were a couple of months until January hit that were just very uncertain, very stressful. We really didn't know what was going to happen. Would the election results stand? Would it be contested? What was going on in society at that time? And I just remember that, and it's a little scary to think that right now we're at so much of a heightened level of stress and heightened levels of just people losing their tempers and things. I think no matter which candidate wins, I think that there will be something that happens. I don't know to the extent of what will happen, but I know that for me and my family, I am just getting ready to hunker down at home. I am preparing here like I prepared for the hurricane. I'm going to be doing quite a lot of going through my pantry, making sure that I have everything that I need. I'm going to be making sure that I have some really yummy home-baked goods for the kids to eat, and just, you know, just some of that comfort food, just so that we can kind of enjoy time together as a family. I am going to make sure that we've got our gas tanks filled and that we have our extra tanks filled, as well as my propane tanks. So we went through about 100 gallons of propane during Helene, if you can imagine that, running the generator. And I hate to top those things off this time of year because we're getting into the colder season and propane prices are going up, but I'm gonna just have to bite the bullet and just go ahead and top those off now, because I'm not willing to be without that safety net. I really want to have those completely full so that I know how long of a time period I would have, just in case the power did go out and I needed to use those resources. I've also placed a pretty good order with Azure Standard. I've got a lot of salt coming in. I had read online that there was a gal in an Asian country, and they had gone through quite a crisis, and she said that one of the only ways that her family had survived that was because they had salt. They were able to use that to barter with, and other people needed that in order to cure meat, and it was just such a staple as well as a mineral that people needed, and she said that that was the #1 thing. And so I thought, well, what could it hurt? So I have some sea salt, a good amount of bulk sea salt that I've ordered coming in. Also our animal feed, just about to order 1,600 pounds of feed for the pigs, even though we don't have the pigs yet, but we do have some awesome way to store bulk feed, and I'm going to show you guys that in a pig video when I kind of show you our setup and how simple it really is to house and care for pigs for just 5 months, and how much food that'll put in your freezers. So we're going to be getting that. Also, I need to stock up on dog food, and I need to get some more bottled water. I don't know about you guys, but occasionally I'll go into my garage, or I'll go, you know, wherever when I'm looking for stuff, and I will see that my kids have sort of used my supplies or used my items for their own taking. They're there, so, you know, they just take them. They don't think to go fill up their own water bottles from the kitchen. They're just going to use my plastic water bottles that I've purchased from Costco and Sam's and Walmart. And so I do need to do a little bit of replenishing there. Also making sure that I have cash on hand in small bills, just in case. But yeah, just a lot of things like that. And I would really encourage you guys also to take this time period now to do those things as well. Because like I said, we don't know what's going to happen, but I am pretty sure that with tempers the way that they are, with the media sort of kind of flashing this whole chaos and violence thing all around us, you have very, very polar opposite candidates, and you can have very, very polar opposite citizens in our country right now, as well as quite a few illegal immigrants with maybe not the best intentions that are here. And so yeah, just making sure that you are protected, that you can hunker down at home. And also one last thing that I'm going to do before Election Day, and I encourage you guys to do it too, is early voting. I don't know about you, but I do not want to get caught in a situation where someone has been plotting an attack on American citizens during Election Day. I would rather go now. Our early voting just opened up, and so I'm going to be going down to our voting place and getting that taken care of so that I do not have to go out on Election Day, because I think it would be very smart for you guys to do that. Also, just get your votes in, and don't be going out on Election Day, and just kind of take the time to hunker down at home and just make sure that you have everything that you need, maybe for a couple weeks, maybe for a month. If you are already a prepper, just maybe make sure that you're kind of filling in some of those gaps and some of those holes and things. But anyways, guys, I hope that your fall garden is looking amazing. I hope that you guys are enjoying this temperature change where you are. And yeah, so we will see what happens in the next coming weeks. But thank you so much for hanging out with me, and we will see you in the next video.